this coronavirus is hitting a lot of people in the pocket.
Small businesses especially.
Yeah, small businesses, big time.
Mm.
Fortunately, Mark Cruz. Cruiser.
Wow.
He's at
Rochdale legend.
Bank of Queensland, Windsor, and they've been absolutely superb with me. Really looked after the whole repayment, so the loans, they've frozen them. Credit card interest is going to be delayed.
Wow.
So look, we've been fortunate in my respect, but I would probably urge anyone with a small business or anyone who needs financial help to get yourself to Bank of Queensland, Windsor. Go and see Cruiser.
Give him a shout.
Yeah.
Tough times ahead. It's probably only going to get worse. So the faster the better. Probably.
Yeah. Sooner you get in there and see him, get yourself set up. I think it's probably going to be for the best. So yeah, Mark Cruz, Bank of Queensland, Windsor. Get yourself in and get sorted.
Good morning, everyone. Tom Carroll from Total Compression here. If you're like me and find yourself running for the fun of it during this isolation period, please jump across to www.totalcompression.com.au or our Facebook page at Total Compression and Instagram at Total Compression to get yourself an isolation pack.
This is not just a dream, it's a wet dream of orgasmic proportions that belongs in a different galaxy.
Gaff.
Get it?
Hello and welcome to... Stop this. Stop. Hello and welcome to... TC, when I'm talking. Hello and welcome to the Subs Bench quiz number 3. We're joined tonight by a different quiz master. This is the idea. Every week we get someone different to ask the questions just to freshen things up. We've got a Holland Park Hawks legend, Warwick Palmer. He's going to come in. Yep, now he's right. He is a legend. Joined us tonight. He's going to ask the questions, but we'll also have a chat about Holland Park, football in general, and a fantastic man cave that it looks like Woz has got behind.
Yeah, it looks deadly.
Yeah, not to a Leeds fan, of course, but...
Nah. But if I ever ran out of toilet paper...
Woz, how you doing, mate? Been a while since we caught up, actually.
Yeah, that's been a while.
By the way, like fucking dog.
I'm doing well, mate. Good to see yourself and Nabby. And meet you.
Lads.
Mate.
The other dog's humping.
Is that Nick Nichols' dog?
Nick Nichols.
Benny, it's not that kind of show.
Fucking hell.
No, what are you doing?
When you lather yourself up with peanut butter, mate, you got to expect some things like this.
Hey,
I don't know why.
off.
Well,
This has been imposed upon me.
Fucking hell.
please give us a look.
Right, you get out.
Come on, Nelson.
We can edit that. But yeah, so Woz, continue.
Continue.
The humping has stopped.
Stop. Well, yeah, thanks for having me along. It's great to be part of this Subs Bench podcast. I've a long-time listener, first-time caller. But yeah, a bit of chat tonight. It's been quite a laugh what you guys are doing and keeping everyone entertained, particularly at the moment during isolation. And also with the football season stopped, I guess indefinitely. Hopefully we'll be back on the pitch soon. But yeah, it's great to be a part of it. Hawks this year, certainly in a rebuilding phase. Probably consolidating is a better word at the moment. We've got a lot of young players coming in that are going to get a crack and develop some experience over the next couple of years. So that's where we're at the moment.
Don't we have, after this year, we have another 2 years before the licenses are up. So effectively, if you want to look like an NFL, which the draft's been on this last few days. So these young lads have got 2 years to be where they need to be, effectively.
Yeah, effectively. And look, I think it's great. There's some young players who've been to the club the whole life as well. Jun Tombanega and the likes that have come through the ranks. And as someone who did that myself as a youngster, it means a lot to me to see those one club kids come through. And I mean, when you're a club that gives an opportunity to young players as well, that attracts some young players too. So I'm hoping we'll get some of that talent across. But we do need to probably sprinkle a few older heads and a bit of experience in probably in the next couple of years as well. So it's that fine balancing act. If you've got a full young team, you can struggle a little bit at times with consistency.
Yeah. What's Dean Leperty up to these days? Can he not come down and help out?
I reckon every October, November, I have a chat with Dean. Come on, mate, what's going on? Coming back. He's actually at Tarragindi Tigers at the moment. There's a few of the boys there running around in what's it, Cat 3, I think it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's there with his brother Bryce and Archie Harrison and a few of the boys from sort of 2010, 2011 academy, I guess. Kicking around down at Tarragindi now. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll get into the quiz, and then we can have probably a chat later on. When it comes to the end of the quiz, obviously we'll have a chat about general football. Dusty, just before we do,
yes, Ben.
There's a fella behind you.
Checking you out, eh?
I don't know what his intentions are, but his missus is not too happy.
Is he still looking?
He's been looking for the last 7 minutes, mate.
He's been there for a long time, and I wish he'd leave me alone, but
he's not making it discreet at all.
It's the closest thing I've got to a dog humping my leg, mate. So
he's keener than Benny's dog.
There's no one keener than that.
Hang on, which dog's doing the humping? McNichol's dog?
McNichol's dog was doing the humping.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all, eh?
She's a female, and he was a male, so
okay,
all right. Of dominance going on there.
Switch that up. That's all good. That's all good.
Yeah, it's up to them, you know. Not going to judge. All right, with the quiz.
Yeah.
How are we going to run it? Do you want us to keep our answers to ourselves, or do you want us to buzz in, or what's going to be the best for you?
I don't mind. Whatever you feel.
I reckon the buzz in worked a bit better.
I don't have a pen and paper, Benny, so let's do the buzz in.
Buzz in.
You got a whiteboard right behind you, mate.
Cool. We'll do the buzz in.
Facts on it.
Gaffer, Nabby, TC, Dusty. We'll shout out. It's 2 syllables. We should be okay with that.
All right. Just so everyone knows, my buzz is going to be Hawkies.
All right.
All right. And forgive me with the questions. I had to pull them together this afternoon after mowing the lawn. So
yeah, that's my fault. Short notice.
Hopefully they get a bit of conversation going. I'll kick things off. Pretty easy one. Pengelly scored goals for fun last year and Golden Boot winner. How many did he score in the league?
Dust.
Ooh. Go on, Dust.
In the league alone, I'll say 41.
You are absolutely correct. Well done.
Wow.
How many in total for a bonus point?
52?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
You're a nerd, Dust.
I had 52 on my head and 41. I don't know where I pulled that from, but I'm pretty happy with it.
Old mate's looking at you.
Pretty sure that bloke's checking out where you pulled that.
He's giving me the answers.
I was going to go 43-52, but that's fair play, Dusty. That's good.
Well
Thanks,
done, Dust.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, boys.
What a cracking season. This one's close to my heart, but when did Holland Park Hawks make their Brisbane Premier League debut?
Hawkies!
Nabby.
That would have been. I was going to do the fucking maths in your head. Is when I went to Wollongong. So
Mate, if you don't have an answer, don't buzz in, all right?
I do. Settle down.
2 + 2 is 4.
2016.
Yeah.
Well done, Nab.
Yeah.
Done you know.
Fair play, Nabby.
Nabby.
I was waiting in the wings for that.
I thought you might have had an idea, Ben. Wasn't quite fair.
Yeah.
So which club is the oldest club in its original form and still using its original name that has played continuously in the Brisbane senior competition?
Gaffer. Just 1 or 2, I think. I'm going to go with Barden Latrobe.
Dust.
Fuck.
Dusty.
Albany Creek.
No.
TC.
Oh.
You see?
Grange Thistle.
No.
Gaffer.
Give it a go, cunt.
Yeah, but I fucking buzzed in before you.
You can't say that word, Nab. Jesus.
Said caw.
Oxley.
No. It's the longest extant club, but not in its current form.
The Gap.
Mitchelton.
No.
I'm out. That's all I got.
Come on, Nab. Come on, Nab.
He's Googling it. I can see him.
He's Googling.
All
That's a
Star?
Goog-
No.
Ooh.
Just give us a clue. Is it what leagues is it in now? Is it NPL, QPL, BPL?
It's in the BPL at the moment.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Mogul.
BPL.
Oh,
Also, he didn't buzz in.
Oh, it's a tough one. This.
I don't even know who's in the BPL right now.
Fared too well in the restructure. Probably.
but
Oh, TC, Turinga.
no, I got it.
Movers.
Hey, I said it first, but
No, you didn't, Nabs. You did
No,
not.
this is the same thing we had last week when you said that you won.
By the way, I've watched last week's back.
He didn't win,
know
did
He
he?
did not say Ben Liffen, by the way.
I
No.
did.
He did not say him.
This is what happens, right? If two people speak at the same time, it must blur someone out.
It blew you out. So TC got that right, and you didn't win last week.
So did I win? Did I win last week?
I won last week.
But
Dusty won last week.
I'm gonna film this from behind for fucking GoPro so I can catch you out.
Get the VAR on it, Nabs.
We get better NBN nabs. That's it.
That's it.
I've got witnesses right here as well. So
I've got ADSL. Dial up.
Next question.
Well, speaking of dial-up, and this is probably just a throwback one I thought I'd put in there. Who was the player of the match in the Brisbane Strikers 1997 Grand Final?
Dust.
Nerd.
Oh,
Alan Hunter.
It was correct.
Yes.
That's how you got
Big
your
L.
start. That's how you got your start at East, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Knowing all the strikers' facts.
That was me.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, I'll panel beater.
Don't get bitter, Tom. Get better.
I watched you, Alan.
No, it's
We
only
talk
because
about-
he told me that this many times. It's stuck in my brain now.
By
When
the
he talked
way,
about his pipe.
did anyone watch that the other week when it was on Facebook? Did anyone see that?
What's that?
The replay.
7 grand final. They had it on replay.
Oh, that would have been sweet, huh?
I would have
missed
been.
it.
I would have
would've
been
watched
stuck to the TV watching it for sure.
Casey Newman was running the show, by the way, in the midfield.
The only
Yeah.
game I've watched, that they've been putting all the old games
it. Oh, Benny.
Benny,
Oh, Benny. Come on,
down and
mate.
watched the whole. Oh no!
He's having
Am
a
I back?
stroke.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
The only one I've actually watched was the Kangaroo Point Kapalaba game.
yeah, I watched it the other day as well.
Yeah.
What a game!
Yeah.
Kangaroo Point hard done by as well.
I thought they were actually. Yeah,
Mm.
did well. So, next question.
Questions, what?
Question.
Really good questions.
A bit more recent one. FFA Cup. So, who scored the line for Lions against Croydon Kings in the FFA Cup?
Go!
Abby.
That would be Showy.
Yeah.
You have to have two or just one?
Or just
Well, they
two.
scored
Who
two.
scored?
But yeah, Shahil Khan did.
Yeah.
Gaffer.
Gaffer.
Andre Benotto penalty.
Correct. Well done, Gaffer. Well done, Abby.
Come on. Go on, Andre, lad.
Boy,
No.
Showy. My boy, up the Centenary Stormers.
Now, I don't know if this one's going to work for buzzing in, but can you name 5 clubs with an ethnic background and their ethnicity?
Ooh. Yeah, go
I missed the end of that question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just their ethnic clubs background and their ethnicity.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Brisbane City Italian.
Yeah.
Can we all jump in
Olympic-
here? Or?
Olympic Greek. Yeah.
We might have to. Naby's struggling.
Brisbane Knights, Croatia.
Lions Dutch.
Ooh.
Yeah, is that fair? Is everyone feeling that?
Yeah, I think they are, yeah.
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
mate.
Hollandia, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dust gave you a big help there.
Yeah.
Did you hear Dusty's one?
Has he got 3?
I didn't.
Got 3. Brisbane
Well,
Knights.
Croatia.
Brisbane Knights,
Brisbane
Rock League, Croatia.
Yeah, right.
Grange Thistle, Scotland, surely. Does that count?
Yep.
Yeah.
Bench.
Isn't Brisbane Athletic Portuguese?
Portuguese.
Yeah.
These?
Portugal.
Football takes me many places. Hot places, cold places. You know that?
It's liquid engineering.
Nah, you got to go to bed, mate. You're too jacked up.
The other one like St. George as well. Serbian.
Oh, yeah. Willabong. Are they
Serbian.
I don't want to get
Any
stabbed.
others?
Serbian?
Yeah, I was Jason George wrong.
No, we've already said that one. Nap.
Got to be more than that.
Surely.
Can't
Holland
think of
Park
any.
Hawks.
Can't think of any. So,
That's a good
question was
Next question. When did Liverpool last win the league, and how old were you?
Oh,
Gaffer.
Dust. Damn it.
Whoa, unlucky.
Dust wasn't born.
1989-90,
30 years.
and I would have been 11-year-old, which is a correct answer. Whether you know my date of birth or not, it's a correct answer. I was 11-year-old. Liverpool won the league.
I was going to say 89, and I was not born yet. So
I've had 30 fantastic years since, and this year has been very disappointing, but there's still a silver lining. Hopefully, that they don't get given it.
No.
The Corona's the real winner.
How about the Dutch league? Cancelled.
Well,
Indefinitely. Well,
look,
no,
just
gone.
completely.
I have to say, Liverpool 100% deserve to be champions of England this
Yeah, but
year.
there's always going to be an asterisk, isn't there? Always.
An asterisk.
But they've not
Asterisk?
quite won it yet.
No.
So if they get given it and they don't deserve it, that asterisk will be there forever. So United will always have 20 without the asterisks. Liverpool will have 20 with the asterisks, or 19 with the asterisks.
Correct.
Correct.
But they really should, if it does get canned, Leeds should definitely get promoted.
I agree.
100%.
Hey, start it all again next year, I reckon. Start it all again.
Oh,
This year did not happen.
Well done. How many clubs are part of Football Brisbane?
Holy shit. Closest. Should we say closest?
Yeah, close to.
closest.
All right.
I'm sure Dusty's just sitting there going, "Okay, put his brain on."
Everyone else go first.
Dusty's on Google.
I'm going to go with
Hey Siri.
Hey, Alexa.
I'll go with 71.
Oh,
I was going way higher than that.
I'll say 94.
110.
Need to take your socks off, nobody count, or you're right.
I'm just trying to figure out the weights. I'm like, I'll go 87.
The gaffer was closest, it was 72. According to Football Brisbane Club Directory.
Yeah, that'll be right. Was. You
Well done, Gaffer.
Thank
Is
you.
that too many, or is that a different debate for another time?
I reckon, yeah, could be too many.
It seems like a lot, doesn't it?
Too many, that.
It does seem like a lot. They keep adding. Every year we seem to have another one. But, look, we benefited from that in 2008, so it's hard to, where do you draw a line?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Will there be less clubs next year after coronavirus?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Some will hit the wall. Been running on a
Out of what was the right answer?
72.
72, yeah.
No, I was one off.
Yeah.
I reckon between 5 and 10 will hit the wall.
Yeah.
I'll be
I
early
think
60s next year. Even if it's just for a couple of years to get sorted again, I can't see how some teams can survive. Even the big teams are going to struggle here. If the season gets up and running with no spectators, and I know that we got 3 players here who may or may not get.
Did you count me as a player? I'm over 35.
I didn't count you as, but I'm classing these 3 as players who may or may not get remuneration for playing. If there's no spectators coming through the door, I don't know how clubs are going to pay players.
Yeah, it's going to test. I think it's going to massively test out. Test it out. Especially like I think everyone's got to maybe just put the guys that do get paid, put the egos aside, and maybe just think of the bigger picture. Especially I think also it's hard because you are outlaying a lot of money, but for the good of the game, like if you've paid Rego, you've paid that money. Like I know it sucks and everything like that, but for the good of the game and the fact that these clubs might not survive if you bang on about getting that money back, you might just have to write it off as a loss, because if everyone wants their money back, which is understandable, it will finish more clubs than than 10. You know. Like,
Yeah,
I was
big
I was
time.
I was
It's gonna be
speaking
tough.
to a president of a club that plays at the top level. I won't say which club it was. Today I was speaking to him. They pay their first team players. Basically, comes from a local club, like a pub type setup, which obviously they can't operate right now either. So if they go back and the pubs can't open back up, the players don't get paid either. So I don't know. For me personally, it wouldn't put me off. I couldn't care less if I was getting paid or not.
Yeah.
Wouldn't stop me. But I think there would be quite a few who would just not. It wouldn't be worth their time or their effort if they weren't getting paid for it.
Well, you was at Holland Park. Obviously, you're heavily involved there, so.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, look, I think there's still expenses. Still got to cut the grass. We've still got to run the club at the moment, even though there's not a lot to be doing. We've got 850 members, but it probably come at a crucial time in terms of, whilst we had a lot of registrations paid, there was still, a lot that weren't. The juniors hadn't quite started. It was just before the first game or second game of the year. So there's always a bit of a lag. Will those people come back? I think that's probably our biggest concern is when it does sort of open up, whenever that may be, let's say July, I don't know, that's sort of a date that's been thrown around. Are people looking at that and going, oh, it's only 3 months, we might just skip it this year, not pay that money and come back next year. So I think that will cause a lot of grief as well, because we're going to shuffle teams around, numbers. You might see some teams have to pull out, and Football Brisbane will certainly have to earn their money in terms of reshuffling some of those leagues and games around. I know that I'm playing over 35s myself, and we hadn't started. So I think there's probably a lot of over 35 blokes that are 6 months older, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's that's an eternity when you get to this age. And they might think, you know what, I might spend more time with the family or do something different as well.
Might be happy they got a decent reason and I have to go and pad up every Friday night.
Well,
You think it'll probably affect the juniors more, you reckon, than the seniors?
Absolutely.
Like the QPL, MPL, BPL seniors, it probably won't affect too much because everyone wants to play. But those junior parents, like you could see as a parent myself, like you could see both sides of the argument. Like it's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think what was just saying there, the parents who haven't paid yet, more than half of them are just going to sack it off. Like
they're going to bag it.
You would think they're halfway through the year. Season normally finishes in August almost. I think juniors, they just go, oh, you know what? For the sake of 2 months' worth, just wait till next year. Senior football. Look, I will throw this out there. I'm obviously a coach, and I want all the players to come back and want to play and stuff. And I think most do. But I've got to play devil's advocate as well, I suppose, in the role I've got on this. You're going to have some lads who can't afford to get injured and miss 3 weeks or 4 weeks of work wage, especially with what's gone on. So there's a chance that every team will have 2 or 3 lads who just cannot justify playing for free or playing for minimal amounts.
Yeah, not worth the risk.
It's not worth the risk of getting injured and stuff like that. So it will be interesting when it comes round.
Yeah, definitely.
Look, I'll go on record now. I wouldn't blame anyone if they're in that situation. I wouldn't think any less of them if they said, I'm not playing for free. I'm not playing for less than this and that. If they're going to lose wage for getting injured, I completely understand that reason. Equally, I always said as a player, I'd play for free, so getting paid is just a bit of a bonus. And
until it happens.
Until it happens. So it will be interesting, but I can't black and white say one way or the other. It has to be this, has to be that. Everyone's got a different situation, and you just got to accept what they go with, you know.
Yep, fair point.
A lot of families won't have the income they had before as well.
Yeah. We're down. I'm on a half wage from what I was. My missus is on the same, but fortunately our kids are not. I suppose we don't have to pay for what they're doing at the minute, so we're not kind of in that situation where we have to make a call on that. But there'll be a lot of people who are in that situation, and they've got to think, really. We can put this $700 towards food
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you think? I know it's tough, and it's probably going to be everyone's feeling it. But do you think that is something like the FFA could help out, like nationwide, or just too big of an ask?
I think there's too many, Tom. Like,
Yeah.
if every club has got 20 in that situation, you've just heard Football Brisbane alone's got 70.
Mm.
So there's, you're 20 times 70 plus the Sydney, the Melbourne, the Perth.
Yeah, that's
I just think it's going to be difficult to get a senior season going with the players that we know now. It might be like the 20s got a good chance here.
Yeah, it could be.
It's a good point.
Very good point.
I think if I cast my mind forward to next year, who's going to cough up $2,500 for an NPL junior to play as well? So the effects, I think,
it could be a flow-on effect massively.
Years to come.
Another question was, who should be paying $2,500 anyway for juniors to play football? Do you know what I mean? that's another question altogether.
That's a whole podcast.
And I know that there was a podcast last week with greater minds than ours in terms of Australian football that raised the same points. I just $2,500. Come on, really? Like for $2,500, I would want fucking Terry Venables to be coaching me kid.
Yeah, you'd want Viduka teaching your son how to be a striker, wouldn't you? Like,
with all due respect,
exactly.
For that age group, it's mental. But that's a personal opinion, and I know that everyone will have different opinions, but it's extortionate amount that.
Yeah, I don't think too many people would disagree though. We should probably get back to the quiz. Sorry.
Quiz. Let's get away from the politics of this.
That's next time.
We have already answered this one, so I'm going to skip it. It was when does the original FQPL 5-year licenses expire? So that's in 2022.
Well, did we? There was still a bit of conjecture about a question on an earlier quiz along the same lines, wasn't there? About how many seasons we've played, and the quiz master was dead set wrong.
Yeah, Chinga was wrong.
He was dead set wrong.
Chinga also tried to tell us that that wasn't a part of the BPL, so his credibility went out the door.
So Chinga asked 9 questions that night, and only 7 of them were factual. So far, Woz has done well.
2 are null and void.
We'll roll on to the next one. So, over the past 10 years, there's been 5 clubs who've won the Brisbane Premier League. Who has won the most, and how many did they win?
Lions 3.
Yep, nailed it in one.
Bonus
question. There were 3 other clubs who won it twice. Who are they?
Wolves.
Rochdale.
And
one more, twice.
Yeah.
Did we say
Albany Creek? Albany Creek.
They've won the last 2.
Just the last 2, yeah.
And the odd man out was Redlands, who've won it once.
Yeah, last day of the season.
That's right. They were a cracking team that year as
well.
That
was a fucking good team, actually.
Beat us on the last day.
Didn't they come on a massive run halfway through and just kept going and going?
They were good pretty much the whole season. They were like, remember we played them at home and we were down 3-0 at half time, hardly got a touch of the ball. They were just
Fifey was their main man money.
Yeah, and then they had Igor, they had
Meredith.
Meredith, Cameron Draper was their captain, I think. But we got back to 3-3 that night, just quietly.
Good sign.
3-3.
Yeah, got back. It was ridiculous. I don't know how we did it, but
Chandler in charge.
Yeah. That was the
first season, I think.
First season, yeah.
Fair play.
Georgie Barbarousis, quality team.
They were fucking good side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gaffer, you're out of this one because it's about you. Because I was running out of questions by this stage.
Gaffer's probably won this quiz, by the way.
I think. Well,
Dusty's pretty far up.
Dusty's just doing pretty well. But how many Brisbane clubs has Ben Ryan coached at?
Dust.
Oh, fucking nerd.
All right, so I'm going to count them out. Yeah. So Brisbane Athletic.
Oh, did you get that one, Nab?
Did you?
Chances.
You have it, mate. That's fine.
That's
Go on. I didn't hear a caca, but.
Brisbane Athletic.
Yep.
Bayside.
Yeah.
You're telling us, mate.
It's lagging. Yeah, so Brisbane.
All right,
Athletic.
I'll tell you.
Albany Creek.
Yeah.
Holland Park.
Yeah.
Are we going to Peninsula?
Yeah.
And I think there's one more. But
Well,
I'm not 100%. Was North Star in there?
Well, technically, North Star, I was caretaker for one game.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 games. Technically for 2 games, but officially, I think was looking for 5. But there was a 6th, and it was North Star for 2 caretaker games.
Yeah.
So I think you can give him the point.
You can have the point. Even
Well
though
done,
you
Nabby.
jump in.
Okay, my boys.
The last question, a bit of a laugh. Does Leo drink more Red Bulls than Ben drinks red wine during a season?
Oh, I don't know.
So yes.
I'm gonna say yes. I reckon Leo drinks Red Bull before he drink a bottle of water. For sure.
Yeah,
Red Bull's a day.
Probably
in
has
and
his Red Bull and his cornflakes. I reckon. Old Leo.
I think Leo's definitely drinking more Red Bull than I'm drinking red wine. Yeah.
I would hope so. Because if you're drinking red wine that much, you ain't doing it.
Can we touch him?
You
with
know
Leo?
what? Every time we do one of these isolation things, I've got a glass of wine.
Yeah.
But I'm only drinking them on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Through the week, I am clean.
Yeah.
Leo's definitely not clean through the week.
Leo, one of the greats.
Yeah.
That was probably a bit too easy, the last one. Well, thanks, boys. I hope you appreciate
thank
it.
you.
No, good mate. I think
Quality.
it's the first time we've had a quiz master who's actually got every single question right with the answers.
Yeah.
Even Terry last week we were adding answers to his. He was like, "Oh, that's another one I didn't get." But no, brilliant. That bit of fun.
Yeah, well done. That was a great quiz. Oh, he's muted himself. All right.
Just
Okay.
give us the rundown, because I know that obviously I class you as a Holland Park legend. You're the person who drew me to the club when they first got in touch with me about going then coaching. It was someone like yourself I had already had good conversations with, so I knew the type of people that were involved. Your background, so where you started with and stuff, you must have covered every role possible at the club.
Yeah, certainly have. Started as a player many moons ago, over 30 years ago now, and I've done every role at the club. So I've been a groundsman, secretary, treasurer, president for a couple of stints. I've managed teams, played, captained first teams, won premierships, done everything at Holland Park. And it's been quite a journey. So the club itself set up in 77. So we've been, our 40th was 2017, which was, it was a great year, but it's been an interesting journey. 2008, we joined Football Brisbane. So I think up until then, a lot of our players would sort of join Hawks at a young age and then get to about under 11, 12s and then head off to Mount Gravatt or Reese or Annerley, one of the federation clubs as they were called back then. And we'd sort of have gaps and you'd have to sort of have junior cult teams, which were combinations of 13s, 14s, 15s and sort of struggle through. But about probably mid-90s, we got a senior team again. And that was the foundation for what eventually became Hawks seniors now. And a lot of the players that, become the backbone of the club, Robbie Harrison and Peter Atkinson and John McCarry, and we call ourselves the grumpy old men now.
I'd still call you the grumpy old men now.
We've been called that for a while. But when you talk about a club culture, they were certainly founding members, I guess, of that culture, of that winning culture. We absolutely dominated the Church League when we were back there. It was either ourselves in Mount Gravatt or ourselves in Mansfield or ourselves in St. Paul's. We were top 2 for a decade leading up to it. So to finally test ourselves in Football Brisbane in 2008 was pretty exciting. We come into Metro 2 back then. John McCarry was the coach back then, and we won it in the first year. And I'm pretty sure Leo might have been coaching the City team. Croyd's was coaching Loganholme, so that was our rivalry with Loganholme sort of kicked off then, or Loganholme as we like to call them sometimes. You netted that one out? Nah, leave it in.
Nah, leave it in.
Oh, we're leaving that in.
we left Benny getting humped by a dog, mate. We're leaving that in.
Fair. That's for you guys, man. But look, it's been quite a journey. I think the treble in 2010 in Metro 1 back then. And Metro 1 then was, you had your senior teams, but then your next best team was Metro 1, and it was a great league to cut your team in. try and make it into the Prem 2s. That was it was an amazing year, the treble. And then, we sort of started to get serious in Prem 2. So that's when likes of Bratsy and that came into the club.
Yeah.
And then we really had a golden period where we won back-to-back doubles in terms of premiership and grand finals. And you were heavily involved in that, Benny.
Yeah,
And,
good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nabby was a small part of that.
Yeah,
just a piece of the jigsaw.
Nothing small about Nabby.
Had to widen the doors, get the head through the door.
But
Benny, you'd know as well, like with that club, it was a real family-orientated club.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it was.
They're quite sad to leave after such a short time there, but you don't sort of get too many clubs like that with. It was more just like, it's a big family. You know, everyone, same people rocking up every week, and everyone doing so much around the club because you'd gone through the leagues pretty fast and got to where you were. There was a real sense of pride between everyone at the club, and it was good to see how well they kept going on when I left and been in charge that next season. Because I think that year when I was there, the next season, a lot of people thought maybe the team, would be struggling to do that in BPL, and they definitely. But they only added 1 or 2 players, I think, was it, Benny? Maybe, and
we probably added 2 or 3 max, but the team that got promoted from that Cup 1 was a BPL team. I think we knew that from early in the season. Just took us a few games to get going, but
remember that spray in the shed at Brisbane Knights? Remember that? That's when we went 15 in a row then. Remember we went 15 in a row?
Yeah. There was a spray like that the season after, to be honest, mate. It's probably a bit worse. Ipswich away, 2-0 up, lost 3-2. That was a bad one. That was a bad day. But I think the thing that Holland Park had was they had a good culture and was talked about, people like Sneaky Pete and John McCary and Rob Harrison and people like that, and even, Dave Reid and so forth.
Yeah, Reedy.
You had lads who'd been at the club for a long period of time who I think it happens with senior clubs. Let's take Man United or Barcelona, and I'm not comparing Holland Park to these 2 clubs, but
please go on.
Kind of sounds like
the idea being that if you've got stalwarts of a club, so let's say Manchester United, you've got like a Gary Neville, a Roy Keane, a Ryan Giggs, a Paul Scholes, and young players come into the club. If they don't buy in to what the top group have had for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, it's not going to work. So unless they buy in, off they go. But if they do buy in, then it works, and so forth. And I think that the lads that we brought in appreciated that you had guys who'd been there for 10, 15, 20 years coming to support them, coming in the dressing room. And you will have had it at East, I'm sure, when you had a good age, that 3 or 4 year period where East were very strong. I guarantee you had a good culture where people involved in the club felt part of your dressing room. And we definitely felt that with Woz and John and Pete and Rob and Dave and people like that. They mattered so much to the club that they mattered to us in the dressing room. And if you got players playing for the club because of that, because of the people, you give yourself half a chance straight away. And if you're good players, even better.
And you had some good players, which helped.
We did have some good players.
Very good players.
I think one of my favourite wins was against Lions, first game in the BPL against them. And I'd grown up my whole life as a kid wanting to beat, the big clubs. And we went away to Lions, and Johnny Maldini Mathers broke his ankle probably 15 minutes in, Ben.
It was second half when it was, because he'd been outstanding. He'd had a cracking game.
Yeah.
We'd had an injury on the Thursday night of training, and I said to Johnny, have you ever played centre half? And he went, no. I went, well, you're playing there this week? And he went, honestly, you're going to have to, mate, I've got no one else. So he went in and he was outstanding. I think with about 25 to go, he got stretchered off, and it was 1-1, or it might have been 1-0, 1-1. And we scored an injury time. And all the lads, the first thing they did, weren't he on a stretcher in the Lions have got like a gym area?
Yeah.
And all the lads went in, and I've never said this before, but I went in and I went up to him. I think I kissed him on the forehead, and I said, "That was for you, mate." But I had a lump in my throat because I knew what a big win it was for the club because they come from below. Fucking hell, I was emotional that day. Like it meant a lot to me. That it meant a lot to people like Waz and John who were behind the dugout. It was fantastic.
Who scored the winner? Can you remember?
Pacey, I think Alistair Pace got a little back in. Rasmussen's hit the shot from 25 out, and Pacey's kind of like coming towards me, just kind of flicked it. And it just diverted it past Zabaks, and
legend.
It just went up like our dugout. It was down our end, and we knew we'd won. It was 92nd, 93rd minute, and we knew that was it. We went up like so, but it was emotional night. That wasn't it?
Oh, it was. I probably squeezed the shit out of Robbie H. Like this, it was like we'd won the 98 double again. It was here in the eye sort of thing. I think as a club we'd built ourselves up to beating those sort of teams, and to go into the BPL and third that year. I think we finished third.
Should have been second, but we got the points. We'll not go there, mate. But yeah, we finished third. We did finish third that year.
It was great to be able to compete, and and then to see us in the QPL. I mean, we got in there, and I think it was a good time now, as I said before, just to consolidate and look forward again in the future. But we sort of lost a lot of players, and we probably stopped investing so much in the top team and a little bit more in our juniors.
Yeah.
And that's where the focus sometimes needs to be. And I think we'll see us long term really reap the rewards for that.
I think the QPL license thing, or the MPL QPL license thing, it lends itself to clubs doing that. Get your juniors right in 5 years' time, and as long as they come good in years 4 and 5, you're all right because your team's competitive.
Yeah, definitely the current QPL structure definitely aids clubs to be able to do that with no relegations. Really, especially with one promotion spot now, it's very hard.
Yeah, well, you certainly couldn't do it in the MPL. You couldn't.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't sit on it.
We're not going to worry about this, that, and the other because you'd end up like fire. But
Holland Park got a massive would have a massive junior base, wouldn't they? Like catchment area, not really that many other.
You've got Annerley and East, Olympic a little bit, but about 850 we're certainly in-house competitions from under 6, squirts, under 6, 7, under 8s, all the way up to till we start playing the across the river or the SAP stuff. So really good foundation, I think. And you've got to have my concern probably is the people who can't always afford to play football now are being a bit priced out. If I was to try and join the club when I was a kid, I'm the oldest of 5 boys. There's no way we could have played at Holland Park at all, and I would have been lost to the game. I would have probably ended up playing rugby league if it was $2,500 to play in the first team or the NPL. So I think it's the problem. Time, but it's certainly got a big base, and I think it's just nurturing and instilling that culture into them, and that's what people like Pete and myself and the guys are trying to do now is get into the change rooms and give them a little bit of that passion and a bit of that culture. So
it's hard to harness, and you think about if there was potentially promotion and relegation from say the A League. I know it's a little bit off topic, but going back to how much pride you have in your club, and also just how much passion that you have when you see that your side progress to the top leagues and things like that. Imagine if we could get to a stage where potentially, like as crazy as it would sound, Holland Park could play in the A League or something like that. If there was a promotion relegation, that's how we're going to get back to keeping fans of the game, where you can follow your team right from a lower league potentially to the top level.
I mean, they talk about that in the FFA Cup. The magic of that is the essence of football, which is a little fella going out and knocking off someone bigger and having a win, and that's what makes that so special. And I think that when they do, finally join the dots, and there is promotion and relegation, then eyes will light up and spirits will be lifted. And if you have a long-term plan and well thought out and invested in, and anything's possible.
Yeah, it's that B League thing. I don't know if this coronavirus is going to affect whether it's viable down the track, or because one or two A-League teams might struggle. I know that didn't Fox not pay their final bill?
Yeah.
The final sort of payment or whatever for the A-League. Like, so, and I'm probably getting ahead of myself here, but is anyone else going to take up the A-League? Is it that good? Would Optus take it?
If Optus take it, no one's watching it. Let's be honest.
You know, like that's the thing. Unless one of the terrestrial channels gets hold of it,
maybe we can live stream it on the subs bench.
Yeah, well, domestic football could be lost. You know, because people are not asked about it.
Go back to NSL days, just one game a week on SBS or something like that.
Yeah,
that's the last thing you need. I mean, attendances might improve slightly.
Might improve
because they can't watch the game. But if they're not interested and they don't go,
yeah. And if it's not on TV,
I think it's got to be affordable to go watch it at the ground. Like if you had a few kids and you're trying to take them to Suncorp, it's not a cheap night out. Like, you know, if you're a parent, you know, you're not getting out of there without spending over $100 with tickets. And
that's the problem. You can't just go.
You can't just go.
Know where you're going and not buying something when you're there.
Yeah, I think we've discussed this on another episode where, you know, you go watch the Raw and you pay $40-50, but you can go to the Broncos game and it's 35, 40,000. You pay the same amount, but you're watching the best players in the
world
playing in a packed house. Whereas you're paying that sort of money to go watch the Raw. No disrespect to the Raw because they're a professional team, but like it's not the same, you know. And it's a lot of money for people to justify spending for, like, you know, a product which isn't quite at what you would price that, you know, the ticket at, I guess.
I think a problem, and I remember the chat we had, and it ended up getting cut.
Yeah, good. Probably good.
That sounds about right.
No, because we'll revisit the conversation.
We'll revisit it. But
we might as well do it now. But if you put the A-League through the winter, where it's a bit colder and it's obviously not as hot, and the speed and the intensity of game can improve, the problem you then got is it runs at the same time as all of your local leagues. So then people have got a decision: do we go watch the pro team, or do we watch our local team that we played juniors for?
But not only that, Benny, it's also as Tom was talking about, like the Bronx are playing at the same time then as well, right?
Yeah.
So you've got
and the Lions.
You've got a league
Lions.
where you can go and watch the best players in the world do what they do, or you can go and watch the A-League.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And there'll still be people that go to the A-League, but when you're comparing a league like the A-League, where it's the same level essentially as what NRL is to Australia, but it's not on the same level. And it's when it's trying to get put on that same level, it's not going to compete because they're the best in the world, and the A-League isn't.
Yeah. The only way you got around it is if the Broncos play all their games on a Friday night, Lions play all the games on a Sunday, and all local sport is played on a Saturday. It's the only way you get around it.
So how's the week been, boys? Up to much?
Staying indoors.
Staying indoors, are you?
Keeping isolated.
Keeping that isolation.
Just trying to sell a house, mate, and it's a bad time.
Yeah, nightmare.
Mr. Cell team, maybe.
No, it's not.
Josh and Jake and the boys.
It's not. But I'm beginning to wish I had gone with Mr. Cell team.
Probably
to be honest. Yeah, I know they're backed by the fastest growing real estate brand in the country, and the marketing.
Freedom Property Group, I believe.
You know a bit about real estate, don't you, Dust?
I know a little bit about it, yeah. I probably would have gone with Mr. Cell team if I was you, but...
Well, the thing is as well with them, I'm kicking myself now because I know that the attention to detail is 100% spot on. They'll go above and beyond to get a result for you. If you've got a property and you want a tenant, they can probably help you get one. Did you know that?
Lease, sell, they'll find you something to buy.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I've heard.
They pretty much do everything, mate.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know all that. Now it's too late. I've gone with someone else.
How was that experience?
I don't think it was as good as if I'd went Mr. Cell. I'm being honest.
I'm sure Joshy and Jake and the boys will get you sorted.
They'll be waiting in the wings in case that one.
So look, I think what I would say is, if anyone is in the market, looking to sell, looking to buy, looking to rent, hit up the Mr. Cell team. Josh Sherwood, Jake Sherwood, any of the boys.
Success Postacoglu's had in Japan with Yokohama as well.
Yeah.
In the league, and I sort of one regret I have with the Socceroos is they sort of I guess, fell victim to the media and the hype and copped it. Whereas I think he actually could have had success if they let him go.
Yeah.
Well, they went off him because he wanted to do it his own way, right? And now he's gone and done that in Japan, and he's won the league.
He's taken that side from nearly getting relegated to win the league next year. Right?
In Japan too, like
he's pretty special.
I think people forget. Like I think the standard of the J League is just like so much, like just miles and miles ahead of the A League.
Oh yeah.
And he's done something special there. So yeah,
right. It boils down to good coaches. If you take different codes, like if you take cricket, like I don't know if anyone's watched the Test, which is the Australian cricket thing, where you got Justin Langer has gone in there. He's just a good coach. And it's a bit fanciful to say you could put him in charge of any team and any code, whatever. But he's just a good coach. He gets the best out of people, and they play to his system, and it works. It's like Bill Belichick and the NFL. They just stick to a system, and it just works because the system is almost foolproof. And I think Postecoglou gets players in who will do what he tells them, and they'll listen, and they'll just do, and they'll not ask questions, and they just perform. It works. So good coaches are good coaches the world over. Doesn't matter the language or whatever. If players listen to a good system and follow it through, you'll have success. So anyway, speaking of good guys, thanks for coming on tonight.
Absolutely.
This quiz. You're the first quiz master who's got everything right. So that helps.
You've got the best setup too.
Yeah, definitely got the best setup.
Is that a virtual background though, or is that actual?
Is yours virtual?
Nah.
The man cave. It's the actual fucking.
Do you reckon we could hire that for this filming of the subs bench next episode?
Yeah, always welcome, boys.
If you want a signed 2015 Holland Park Grand Final shirt, just let me know, mate. I can put it up in there.
Oh, mate. I've got enough Holland Park Hawks shirts to keep me going for a long friggin' time.
Maybe sign that singlet for him, Nab.
Actually, remember after we won that grand final, we went back to the clubhouse and there was that lost property bin, and I started getting into it. And we're all wearing that lost property. Remember that?
With like all little 6-year-old hats and shit.
Yeah, like boots and shit on our hands.
So one time, Matt McNabb went to a party and put on more clothes than rather than taking them off.
It's the only time.
Yeah. Well, look, thanks for popping on, and we'll be in touch anyway. It's been a good chat, I think. Everyone's probably got a bit out of it, and hopefully we'll be back next week with another quiz, a bit more chat, and enjoyable.
All right, Hawkies loyal.
Did we find out who won that quiz, by the way? Was that the Gaffer by a long way?
Yeah.
I
couldn't even answer one question. I still did.
Yeah.
Can we get that on count back?
Yeah, I'll count that back. Don't you worry.
I'm pretty sure Nabby did not win. That's the only thing I'm sure.
The photo
Nabby
finish.
said Ben Lifton.
I've got a witness here that heard me say, that's it. I'm GoPro. I'm setting it up. I'm taking it up next week.
We set it, but keep it set up.
We got a protest.
GoPro out of the bedroom and I'm bringing it down here.
Cheat, never beat. So, all right, lads. Good crack.
All right.
See ya.
Great to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Ciao.
So how's the week been, boys? Up to much?
Staying indoors.
Staying indoors, are you?
Keeping isolated.
Keeping that isolation.
Just trying to sell a house, mate, and it's a bad time.
Yeah, nightmare.
Mr. Cell Team, maybe.
No, it's not.
Josh and Jake and the boys.
It's not. But I'm beginning to wish I had gone with Mr. Cell Team.
Probably
to be honest. Yeah, I know they're backed by the fastest growing real estate brand in the country, and the marketing.
Freedom Property Group, I believe.
You know a bit about real estate, don't you, Dust?
I know a little bit about it, yeah. I probably would have gone with Mr. Cell Team if I was you, but...
Well, the thing is as well with them, I kick myself now because I know that the attention to detail is 100% spot on. They'll go above and beyond to get a result for you. If you've got a property and you want a tenant, they can probably help you get one. Did you know that?
Lease, to sell, they'll find you something to buy.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I've heard.
They pretty much do everything, mate.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know all that. Now it's too late. I've gone with someone else.
How was that experience?
I don't think it was as good as if I'd went Mr. Cell. If I'm being
I'm
honest.
sure Joshy and Jake and the boys will get you sorted.
I'll be waiting in the wings in case that one.
So look, I think what I would say is, if anyone is in the market, looking to sell, looking to buy, looking to rent, hit up the Mr. Cell team. Josh Sherwood, Jake Sherwood, any of the boys.